Team Poland, who despite being a less popular player than his teammates, is a very important player for the potential world champion roster. This is Have.
Have is a rookie for Team Poland whose improvement this year finally gave him his big break. Having been around the block since 2021, he's been pretty respected in the Polish community, even teaming with close friends like Malashevsky and Milosz before they were the stars we know them as today. And in 2025, Have's improvement has finally paid off. What's great about his addition is that despite how it looks, Have really is an invaluable player in both skill set and firepower. Poland's main strength without Have is heavily favoured towards mechanics and tapping. They are well-rounded in their own right, but for a team seeking their first victory since 2017, a different level of versatility is needed. And if one skill set was lacking for them, even with Malashevsky, it was hidden and reading. Have emphatically ticks both of the biggest boxes Poland were missing. He may also be great on tapping, but he's absolutely gifted on tech and reading, competing on 8-star average pools specialized in tech, even setting scores in match that outshined Malashevsky himself and reigning OWC champion Flying Tuna on both their prime territory. And to add, if you followed the Easy World Cup, you'd notice that he's actually been on the team for the last 2 years. Considering how absurd Poland's core roster is, on top of the big improvements from some of last year's rookies, it's not surprising as the only rookie for Have to be overlooked. Sure, at first glance his rank and his lack of spotlight might not be too convincing, but I think that's what makes Have the deadliest sleeper agent in this year's OWC, being the cherry on top to an already monstrous Polish roster. Hello everyone, welcome back to the O's World Cup. I thought I could hear my voice for a second. I think I'm hearing things. Anyway, what's up everyone? How's it going? Welcome to the quarterfinals of the O's World Cup 2025. We had plenty of matches come through. It's one of the most stacked ones of the weekend of the tournament. One of the most stacked weekends of the tournament, if not the most stacked aside from groups. And we're lucky to see a tiebreaker already come in. Between Romania and I believe, it was a team, I forgot which one. It was tiebreak between Romania and Taiwan, that was it. And this one may not be as close to be predicted, but who knows? China's run is here, and they have to face a daunting seed one in Poland. I'm Sad Shiva, joined by Miles for what could hopefully be a really good match, depending on how things turn out.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's going to be an uphill battle for China. You're seed 9, you already had to deal with a really tough Russia team last week, and now you've got a whole different beast to go up against. Seed number 1 Poland, a team that has just been so resurgent this year, and one that many people have been saying have the potential to win the World Cup this year, so going to be a tough one for them. Meanwhile, Poland, this is really going to be our first gauge on how good they really are. The quarterfinals map pool is so much harder than the round of 16 one. This is both of these teams' first taste on high star rating since qualifiers, and I'm really excited to see how this one goes, Shiva.
Yeah, I think both of these teams do have their main particular strengths, but I think what's the goal for China really in this matchup is to just go for your most comfortable pick. I don't really think there are a lot of particularly strong matchups that you'd have against Poland. I think they're such a well-rounded team, especially with how well they can mix up that gimmick control with that massively strong mechanics and hard rock. If there was one skill set that you could see potentially going in favor of China, it would potentially be the hard rock precision-y based maps, maybe the super high CS, but even then things are a little bit risky, and that's very much relying on a lot of strong individuals like Milty and Crystal to make the most of it. However, I think with China being so well-rounded, especially on non-heavy mechanical skill sets, on top of the fact that they actually already are a really good mechanical team, I'd like to think there's a lot of possibilities here. China, to me, at least in my mind, are a similar team in essence to Poland, but just generally on the lower explosive size, right? And with this pool being a lot higher on the star rating, you're going to have to hope that adaptability can pay off for them.
But of course, it's going to be really tough. We see the first bans coming through. Poland banning out the Nomad 3, China banning out the DT3, both really expected. China, I think on an ideal day, are going to try to look into more control-based skill sets against every team in the tournament. It's something that they're one of the best teams on. But against Poland, that's a really tough prospect considering they have Malashevsky, probably the greatest control player of all time. But Poland are going to be able to exploit China's historic Achilles heel in this tournament, which is, as you mentioned, being the high mechanics, being the speed. And you can see that reflecting in their bans banning out Strawberry Crisis, but actually going for the free mod 1 ban otherwise. So that flow aim sort of streamy no mod 2 type map in the free mod pool, Prismatics. One of our farm maps getting banned out. And for Poland, they can kind of play with their bans here, pick and choose which maps they don't really want to play. The no mod 3, 4 minutes long, variable rhythms, might not want to play that one. But really curious to see what their next ban is if they decide to go for another control pick like that.
I think it really could go all over the place here. You've got plenty of potential maps that could be in favor of China. I think if there's another option that you could look into, it would be, I was about to say, either Fremont 2 or Hidden 2, if you wanted to not let David and Crystal make the most of it, and that will be the case. It will be Hidden 2 banned out from Poland here. Another control-heavy skill set, although usually seen Hidden 2 as the primarily low-density reading. This one is AR9 with a twist of precision-based aim control. So you're 6.8, not your traditional Hidden 2 reading map. And when you see that circle size rating, you kind of already know, hey, maybe that's something we should avoid just for the sake of David and Crystal and Milk Tea, all three maybe being able to pop something off on something like that. With the opening pick going on the side of Poland, I think if you want to really hit the ground running, assuming you're all fully warmed up, overwhelming China with a strong mechanics start is always the valid option, especially when you know China are very likely to pick into maps that you could expect Poland to play, like the No Mod 4, like the potentially even the Hidden 1 and Hidden 3 as good alternatives as well. I think if you're Poland, just go for the things that are least expected for China to jar them off of their strongest picks to start. The most contrarian of what would be that opening pick.
Yeah, but they're taking their time on their first pick here, and yeah, as you mentioned, China, I think they're going to pick into what we would traditionally call Poland maps in the map pool. I think also some of the more variable picks, like the Hidden 2 is very tough to be consistent on, being kind of a one-of-one, like, precision, stream, flow aim control map, like, really tough to be consistent on that, but also I think maps like the DT4 could be a good pick for China down the line, but nonetheless, it's Poland's pick first, and they are running down this timer. Could expect to see a No Mod 2 or a DT2 to come out of them early to abuse the mechanics, like you said. But they're kind of a team that can play from multiple different angles. But it would just be, I think, like, good play into one of your strengths and one of your opponent's weaknesses.
I mean, Poland's versatility is seriously up there, and I think when you're going for a long timer like that, you're giving your players time to practice. It's definitely going to be something that is specialized in a certain skill set, more often than not, something heavily to do with the reading or something heavily to do with those heavy tapping mechanics to make sure your fingers are nice and warm before you play, and it is going to be Shimmy, the normal 2, coming in here for Poland as an opening pick.
Shimmy. One of the shorter maps in the pool, only a minute 48 seconds, but 240 BPM and really straining on the tapping. A little bit of finger control mixed in there as well. You have to deal with some of these single tap patterns or alternate patterns and then into the bursts. So not just your straightforward speed map, but one where you really have to be on the money.
Yeah, I think this map, being so short and being mapped by a mapper like Mazarin, it's iconic for its volatility. Even though it's really high on those mechanics, even though it's pretty expected, what you'd expect from Mazarin, those tiny micro details of the flow, the simultaneous aim, the difficult spikes of sheer mechanical difficulty is really expressed with a mapper like Mazarin. And the length just exacerbates that premise even more. It may be CS 3.8, it may be 9.7 with a little bit more of a comfy reading sector. It's 240 BPM, it's 7.74 stars. It is a brutal map to be starting off with.
Koi Boomy 2000 entering the lobby. That's a beat map that everyone in the chat should play if they haven't. Just remove the space between Koi Boomy and 2000. Memes aside, that's Milosh. That's a name change. So we're gonna be seeing a lot of Koi Boomy 2000 this match. No, this is my favorite name change of all time, Shiba.
Better than Evil Grape?
Yeah, a lot better than that one. But yeah, Lado Fox entering the lobby for China with Milk Tea Z numbers as well. Lado Fox is a player who this year has really, I think, shown for China in community tournaments, specifically Hippo Cup, coming out as maybe a Chinese player who can join the core of the Lolols and Crystal as a mainstay in Chinese tournaments in the future. And David Q to also join the lobby at the bottom left as Rafis joins for Poland. We've got our first map here, folks. No Mod 2 Shimmy, first pick for Poland. GLHF's in the chat as we get on into it.
Yeah, this one, I think you have a lot of options here for both sides. It's just simply the fact that Poland seem to be really strong. I think one thing I like with China is how much the mechanics has improved over the years. Usually you'd see them as a very controlly one-trick team, in similar essence to Korea, where they were very strong on aim, very strong on control. But recently, especially with this roster this year, their tapping has really improved, generally speaking. Taking down the likes of Russia on mechanics is no easy feat on many, many maps, regardless of star rating. And these members here, especially Ludofox and Milk Tea primarily, are really, really significant in that skill set boost coming to fruition. We also have seen numbers in David. David being a very separated character in terms of his gameplay, both strong on mechanics and also strong on that reading gimmick. We've seen numbers being that tapping specialist for China coming into it. With the map being so short and so volatile, super early combos and a strong head start matter more than anything here. And if there was any exacerbation of that amazing head start, it's going to Poland, man, because everyone but David on China have dropped early on despite recovering well. These 4 early FCs from Poland are going to make things really scary, with only Sharitori, I believe, to have missed really early on, and Milosh essentially holding onto a reverse choke.
Yeah, both Koibumi and Sharitori finding some early breaks, but catching their footing really well. Already 350k of lead as the members of China have broken, but they've brought their combos back as well. So if the breaks do come in from Poland in the second half, they're going to take it back. And there's a couple breaks from Malashevsky and Rapis. And now you can see China reeling in the lead very quickly here. It's going down 10k a few seconds, but there goes the last FC on David Q. And it looks like it's not going to be for China here on the comeback.
So much stamina going into this, and Koibumi 2000, man. This guy's accuracy is absurd on a map like that. Sharitori are holding on really, really well, and that's going to snuff out the hopes of China's return in this hit. Return haymaker for what was otherwise an incredibly strong start for Poland. But even then, despite that, it's still going to be the 2 full combos to stand strong towards the very end of the map. And it will be a double reverse choke, not a double FC, a double reverse choke from both Milosh and Sharitori. 5 misses at the very beginning, 2 misses at the very beginning respectively. But China were close, man. Look at these scores. Averaging 500k, 700k, really solid stuff here to match up with the majority of Poland. But those recovery combos there from Milosh and Sharitori were amazing. These name changes are putting me off, Miles. They're making me stutter a little bit.
Yeah, I think I've chosen to adopt Koibumi 2000. I'm gonna be commentating him as Koibumi for this whole match.
I'm not doing it.
He's not joking.
I won't do it.
About that accuracy, man. 9x100, best accuracy in the lobby. Rafis as well with a stellar 12-100s, both up above 99. Very impressive stuff from Poland. I know we're on the comeback trail on that, but ultimately I think it would have been really close in the end, even if they all had held onto their combos. But some players like David losing accuracy in the end, and that's contributing to Poland's first map. But now China, opportunity to choose their own first map. They've got the entire map pool at their disposal. Got to choose something they're very comfortable on here, because Poland is not a team you can mess around with.
Yeah, I think China, essentially in this matchup, they need to go with something really comfortable. Maybe something that's old style could work for them too. I think we could go for a DC4 potentially if they wanted to go with that. You could also maybe carry in slightly in towards those mechanics. Maybe something like the DT1 if you wanted to lean in slightly. But I don't think they're going to be prioritizing that. It's going to be the Hard Rock 3 instead. Penicillina is going to be the pick here. This one being really slightly attack heavy with the Hard Rock applied as well, matched by Scub Domino. It's CS 5.9 into this, so very much still heavier on that precision, even if it isn't that main 6.5 that we know and love. It's still going to be a brutal test of that aim control on top of that sheer precision that I think China want to try and abuse of much of that strength as possible as a collective. You have multiple of the best precision players in the world, most notably being Crystal, but Milk Tea is also really up there for China, being such a great improvement player on that precision skill set.
Yeah, I mean, this map just screams out to me as being like a China map. Penicillina, someone called this map slider tracing, and I thought that was the most accurate way to describe the skill set that this map tests. It's almost like a diet notch-L in that sense, where you have to aim the sliders in their entirety, but not to the point where in those maps where you have to cheese the slider ticks. You have to aim through all the sliders, and it's comfortable to do so as well. So very unique map in that sense compared to your typical slider tech map. But I say this is such a China map because historically they have been such a strong tech team, and if they had any first pick, I mean, is exactly what I would go for as well. Just gotta stick to your guns against a Poland team that's shooting for victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Poland going into this tournament, they have no mercy. This is, without a doubt, their strongest roster since their World Cup winning roster in 2017. And we thought 2023's roster looked indomitable, but this one really is just a different beast in terms of caliber and quality that these guys have had. It's a perfect collision of the old rookies from that 2022-2023 era coming in with those rookies from the year before, the stars of last year's performances, despite maybe not the peak you would expect when you don't have the best players in your team, still showing up and proving that they are worthy of this future roster with all the best in the country playing now up against China here on their opening pick. I mean, this one still very much in the capability of members of Poland, particularly Shedis. I'd expect to be really strong on this. Kosciuszek has been a phenomenal player through and through. Not only really well-rounded, but just generally any kind of tech and control on those sliders is really up this player's alley. So I definitely look out for these two players on the bottom side for Poland, alongside, of course, Malashevsky and Milos, who you would expect to have really high average scores on this overall.
Meanwhile, it's the signature roster out for China, the one that has been the mainstay, the roster we know and love in just about every lobby for the last 3 or 4 years now. The 3 Lolos and Crystal. 234 is Karumi, 233 is Milk Tea, 235 is David. If you don't know, to join Crystal, their stoic super carry in their first pick against Poland. This map starts out slow, but still you can see the slider tracing in its entirety already. Have to aim those sliders completely, slider head to slider end.
Yeah, all the way through. Lots of really heavy focus needs to be applied when you land these sliders. And I think control of your nerve too, not being too jumpy off the gun here. As Fast Blood stops here against Poland. Milos has to go down, opening begin. As we're making it pretty far down the map here. No members here miss aside from that singular here. It's only a reverse choke, or maybe slider misses that from Milk Tea. Small shakes being noted there from Milk Tea as well. Accuracy leaning slightly in favor of Poland, but not by a significant margin here. And that small miss from Milos is all that she has written so far. As we reach that halfway mark, soon chaos will ensue, and then the real breaks are going to start sticking out.
Yeah, I mean, these teams are just so comfortable on this style of map. 2 expert tech teams here. And yeah, I would assume that all of those differing combos are just due to slider ends, because these sliders are really long. Crystal dropping on the slider stream. That's not the player you want to see miss, especially at this point in the map. His score has just been capped now, even if the FC's arrest and Poland are going to be able to take the lead soon, but for now the lead stays with China due to the accuracy.
Oh no, it's Bancho! It's a Bancho
Bancho.
miss from Crystal.
Okay.
That's excellent for China. Their biggest persistent specialist, you thought he may go down once, but surely won't go down again, right? Surely not. He hasn't even gone down. China's 4-way FC is still up, and we've got a quarter of the map left to go. There's only one more section left, and only one player has missed a singular time. Milos' recovery is still up there. This is incredibly close, and there's the double miss from Poland. China now in the driver's seat to push ahead. They have to still hold, though. They can't fall down as a collective. You've got Malashevsky and Kosciuszek behind their tails, waiting for any kind of trip for them to capitalize on. But it doesn't seem like China are giving any room away. That Bancho miss from Crystal, fake as it was, it's non-existent. And not even for anyone else from China. They're making this a strong start on this precision lineup, as the 4 Musketeers may just land themselves a 4-way FC on Hard Rock 3. Another miss from Milos just to cap it off. Down goes David. The dream is gone, but that doesn't change. Milk Tea ends towards the very end of the map, but that doesn't change how much of a disgusting team score that is from China. 2 chokes, 2 FCs, effectively a 4-way with lower accuracy. It is an excellent team score.
That is an unbelievable team score on this map. It is so difficult to be consistent on the sliders. It's so easy to just find a random slider break on one of those long sliders. But China performing excellently, and they were certainly ready for Poland. They would have been ready for anyone on this first pick.
Yeah, and I think in spite of the FC from Malashevsky and the crazy choke from Kosciuszek on the slider ends, it really didn't make enough of a difference, sadly. And it was close as well. Only a few misses in there. Just Malashevsky to be able to keep up. The rest of China, undaunting, really, on a map like this. It's beautiful. It's an excellent team score.
And even on the side of Poland, it was only breaks from Milos and Shedis that were meaningful at all. Like a 2 miss on that, they were at about 3 million. That's a great team score as well. Probably would beat most of the rest of the winners bracket on this, but China was just a different beast on that map. But now
This might have been one of those scores that you won't see again, man. This might be an unbeatable, unreplicable team score on a map like that. Cannot believe it.
We'll see. There's still a few matches this week, but now Pick back on the side of Poland. They still have some tapping mechanics left in the pool. I think the most obvious one being that DT2 side by side if they just want to continue through the speed train and pick that skill set to its completion. But otherwise, I'm curious to see where they decide to go next, because they've got other skill sets that they're virtually unmatched on. That intro video you just did about that player have on the side of Poland, probably going to be pretty good at a map like Nomad 5, and you might want to pick into that eventually against a team like China.
Yeah, I think if Poland want to exploit that reading skill set, bringing out one of the most promising rookies in this tournament would be amazing to see. Finally have a name like Hav on the spotlight would be so great, but it doesn't look like Poland will be going into that. When we won't whip out that secret weapon just yet. It's going to be side by side on the DT2, still continuing on with that mechanical march to give themselves at least a strong head start pick by pick.
This song, I believe, was a OS original for Catch last year.
Yep.
Now being adapted to OWC. Pretty decent finger control strain on this one, being at I think 248 BPM. It's got a lot of difficult flow aim on it as well. Just overall, I think a DT player's map.
Yeah, turn it up, guys. The banger is playing right now. Original by A1. This is such an awesome song. One of my personal favorite originals from this year. Catch, honestly, all of the modes really got some crazy love in the original department. And I know Standard will not be an exception. It already isn't, but this map is such a banger. And even though it's played by DT, it really does suit the style. The mapping is really cool as well, mapped by Verily. It's a very ruthless finger control map on top of that speed and stamina being applied to. Some really awkward flow aim here and there. AR 9.5, AR 8.5, so slightly lower on that approach rate than usual. But it doesn't change how brutal it really can be, especially on that finger control and tapping. Accuracy will be a big question mark for a lot of players.
Ultimately, I think the BPM isn't really high enough to really skill cap China in the same way that Nomad 2 did. But still one where I think Poland's players are going to have a much better time being more DT specialists, while Chinese players are more all-rounders that are good at the skill set. But we see one of their newer players coming in on the bottom right, Primary, a player they brought in to bolster their tapping. And we're going to see how they do to carry China on this map, potentially.
Let's wait and see what happens here. As rosters are locked in. You've got, again, Milos and Malashevsky coming in, Shedis sticking around from last map, and Rafis appearing again. Looking to be one of very few players here throughout the OS World Cup to get himself a second World Cup victory for Poland. Very, very, very few players have that honor. If you're not American, it's even rarer. China, they're hoping to try and make something out of this here. You got David and Milk Tea coming in, Z numbers, 3 strong tapping players with Primary coming in as the 4th. Mainly a tapping specialist for Poland, looking to add some extra bulk to this tapping capability.
Yeah, only player with a tenure nearly as long as Rafis is Musty. Yeah, as you can see, we go into the beginning here. We have some tricky doubles into some tricky streams, catching out a lot of players out of the start. Rafis, Malashevsky, Z numbers, and Primary all finding early breaks. So it's going to be Shedis, Koibumi, David, and Milk Tea out of the start. But the accuracy, which has really been a struggle for China on the tapping, is going to favor Poland out of the start. Another break comes out from Shedis and Rafis, though, and that's going to start to send it towards Poland.
Yeah, really brutal control coming into this first Ki time. The intro second tripping up so many, and it's a reset combo on a lot of factors here. Shedis is going to be default non-to-fall next here. It's believed the only FC to be in the hands of Milos, but Poland unfortunately struggling against what China have until Milk Tea and Primary both go down. So does David. I was just about to mention how incredible the combos China has, but as I'm about to speak, it's a 4-way reset from China with Milos not batting an eye, Malashevsky and Rafis still keeping their comfortable recoveries to back up that full combo.
Yeah, you can't really afford a team wipe at this point in the map. And Poland, with their recoveries, are going to look to coast through to the ending on this one, even though we're only halfway through. Koibumi and Malashevsky just going and doing their thing, 450k, and look at how quick that score lead is going up for Poland. It's going to be a successful second pick for them.
It is soaring. We may lose that full combo coming in from Miloš, but doesn't change the strong combos from Poland that are dominating on the other side. Feels like already the fatigue from China is kicking in just a little bit here. Another miss from Z numbers. Accuracy collectively quite low on average aside from Milk Tea. David's got a decent combo there, but it's not really much when you compare it to Malashevsky, who not only is holding onto a solid recovery reverse choke, but excellent accuracy on top of that. 98.6 on this is really brutal. And you can tell because you've got Miloš from 98.3. When you have one of the strongest mechanical players in the tournaments in the world, being able to outshine him on that when it's not characteristically a stronger skill set speaks volumes about how explosive this score is from Malashevsky. Even if speed isn't his biggest strength, it's still one of the strongest in the world. And it looks like it might be a reverse choke look to come through for Malashevsky as China collapse, Poland excel, soar ahead with the score lead. Malashevsky is shaking, but he won't be able to get the full reverse choke, but it's still a fantastic score from him to note. 960k, maintaining that 98% accuracy despite the difficult ending section. It is beautiful from Poland, particularly from Malish and Miloš.
Yeah, Poland on that score lead, eclipsing 1 million, and some players are already leaving the lobby, but I was going to say the accuracies really tell the story on that one. You have a team where they're primarily trying to combo game the speed versus a team which is explicitly comfortable on that and enjoy playing it. You can see just how high Poland's accuracy is, how comfortable they are on this sort of map. But now, pick back to China. They're going to need to have more maps like Pensilina if they want to stay in this match for long with how Poland looks to be. And they certainly have more maps like that in this map pool, even if Pensilina is a very unique map in itself. They've got control picks such as the Hard Rock 1 to go with. If they want to stick with the Hard Rock, which you mentioned would be a good route for them in this match, be it either the Precision or in kind of a hybrid tech map.
Yeah, you could imagine options in that Hard Rock 4 being very prevalent, but also looking to a free mod too. Sumi Nagashi being that anti-mod pick, custom map by Artisan. CS5 AR8, the classic anti-mod you would expect. But it really is up to China. I think surprisingly, they have a good amount of aim options available too. You could see DT4 coming in too, but it won't be that. It's going to be Nomad 4 instead. The O's original coming in here. Illustrious Drivers. This is honestly one of my favorite originals ever. It is such a fantastic song and so well mapped from Altai as well. It is a banger to say the least, Miles. I mean, what do you think of this? I think this is going to be a great map. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, China picking into tech once again. This one, not necessarily a slider-only tech pick like the Hard Rock 3 was. There's still a lot of emphasis on like streams and flow aim in this one. But still something that China's been very good on, and we're probably going to see that core roster come back in. But yeah, I'm with you on the song, Shiva. It's a really happy song. I like it.
You know what? I'm getting made fun of in Nintendo right now for saying drivers. I misread it. Drifters. I get it, okay? I'm sorry. Illustrious Drifters, all right? I'm sorry, Nintendo. Don't bully me. Listen, I can't read. It's fine. It's all good.
Let's get you on some NASCAR, Shiva.
Oh my god, yes. Get me on that. Get me on that. Get me on the Talladega.
Yeah,
I'll write that. Like
you were too used to the Eurobeat. You were like Tokyo Drift. Or wait, no. Tokyo
yeah, exactly.
Drift.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what the song actually is. Never mind. You're on that NASCAR already.
Yeah, exactly. I just need some spelling practice, you know? That's all good.
Yes. we have to connect it to the DT2, the 2O's originals, both.
Yeah. It's an original by MetaHuman Boy. What a fantastic song this is, man. Like, I really can't oversay it enough. It's such a good vibe, such a great song. Such a good map as well from Altai. She has 4.28 out of 9.7. It is a flowy tech test, and it's really, really difficult on top of it. A lot of control aspect, a lot of sporadic patterns in there, and it's also really long for its dense difficulty. It's 3 minutes and 7 seconds long, and considering how active the map really is, it's a pretty difficult test of your consistency on top of that.
Yeah, on the longer side, 3 minutes long. Have to be very consistent on patterns that require, I think, an underrated amount of precision. Kind of speaking meta-wise here, like aim control in itself feels like you have to have very precise aim to hit. So, well, I'm not gonna say it's a subset of precision, but if you want to be really meta, it kind of is. Anyways, we got the rosters out. I believe our first time seeing Nahus in this match, one of Poland's core players. Going to see them more and more as the pools get harder to join Kosyarek, Koibumi, and Malashevsky up against our Chinese core roster of the Lolos and Crystal. We've got No Mod 4.
Here we go. This is it. This is such a great map. I'm so happy we're seeing it. And also, I would have expected it considering both of these teams being pretty favored on this skill set. But for China, this is definitely their big hurrah going into it. A lot of control with a lot of tech sliders in there. Exactly what you would expect for China to want to lean into here. A lot of circle tech though as well. Some weird bow patterns as well with some controls, some doubles, some weird moments here and there. So far, so good from either side. A couple misses from Kurumi and Crystal. And Poland not batting an eye just yet. Still 4-way full combos coming in as we get into the first drop. A lot more on the flow, a lot more on the streams, but no misses yet here from Poland except for Nahus, who's early missed here. Aside from that, China still holding strong, and that score lead looking to slowly flicker onto the Chinese side as they start building more of their combos. Nahus misses again. Another combo reset, but still 3 FCs from Poland. Anything towards this ending of the part? Not the case.
Yeah, Nahus the only one to find any breaks for Poland thus far. Meanwhile, Kurumi and Crystal both broke early and are starting to build their combos back up, and they should take the score lead back over from Poland. But there's a miss from David under aiming that stream, and now Poland are going to really start to run away with this one. It's just Milk Tea on the FC remaining. Meanwhile, side of Poland, 3 combos going strong.
Koshrak is particularly looking really good. You got Malashevsky as well, 99.58 accuracy. That's the one fear factor when you pick into this map, is that great Poland are a good roster overall, but Malashevsky is, I think, emphatically known as the best player in the world, on the planet, on a map like this. This is his bread and butter, and you're seeing it translated into what could be one of the best scores of this weekend. 99.66% accuracy, full combo still intact. You may get that miss from Milos, but it's still very well contested here for Poland as long as Koshrak and Malashevsky's combos still hold. You've got David and Crystal with really high forwarded combos, an FC from Milk Tea and a reverse choke from Crystal coming in as we get into the final third with 1/3 to acted, some extra control and a little bit of a change in the step of this map.
A break had come out from Koibumi, and that's going to start to throw the score lead a little bit in favor of China, but it's a 2-way break for Kurumi and Milk Tea. And Crystal goes as well, this 1/3 section, unrelenting, taking 3 of the Chinese combos, and now Poland is really going to run away with this one. You see the lead in the blink of an eye going up to 240k, and Poland are going to look to take an early break point here on China's second pick.
Oh my goodness, Malashevsky and Koshrak, what is happening here? What in God's name are you doing? Still holding on to a double FC. This is fantastic here. You could maybe have expectations of Malashevsky to do something like this, but he may fall, and it's Koshrak instead to take the lead. I speak, and he misses. Sorry about that, Marsh. But hey, still great accuracy, still great combo, still great score, and an emphatic victory for Poland as Koshrak continues to hold on to this, which could lead to a full combo going to the very end as long as he doesn't miss on the ending sections here. Koshrak's improvement this year has been colossal, and the fruits of his labor have paid off with an FC on Illustrious Drifters to carry and push the final lane through, past the hurdles, past the finish line. It's an FC from Koshrak to give Poland a break point.
Yeah, great score from Koshrak. I think one of the unsung heroes on this Polish roster. You look at Malashevsky, you look at Milos, you look at Nahus, all giants in their own right. But when your players like Koshrak are putting up the carry scores on quarterfinals onward, it just shows how deep this Polish roster really is. What a good score from Koshrak. Side of China, still decent scores nonetheless. 3 scores above 500k. The S rank from Milk Tea, 99%, very strong as well. But against a team score like that from Poland, you got to do a lot better than that.
Yeah, agreed. I think you also just have to give credit to that score from Malashevsky. Only a singular slider break was all that it was. Essentially just a slider break choke with 99.3% accuracy on a map like this is really impressive. It just goes to show how gifted the guy is on a map like this, but Koshrak is the one with the biggest spotlight on him. Just a brilliant score. And China now on a huge back foot as Poland look to make this 4-1 and extend their lead to make it 3 points ahead here. With the next pick coming in, you still have a lot of options on this tapping department, like the DT1.
The DT1, I wouldn't necessarily call that tapping. That map is, it's an aim map. It is the aim map of all time, potentially.
Yeah.
But
we'll call it more mechanics.
Yeah.
How about that?
Sure. But when it comes to pure mechanics, there's really none of that left in the pool. You're either getting a main aim map or something hybrid. I guess there's still the mech tech that is free mod 4, but I don't think Poland's going to want to pick that. I think Poland now, at this point in the match, they're going to try and skill cap China by going for the most specialized, the most difficult picks, and this is one of them, Ultra Renda, or Nomad 5 reading map, gimmick map, so to speak. And this map is just hell overlap reading. Just one of the coolest reading maps we've ever had in this tournament, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Ultra Render 1. This one, from what I remember, is quite a brutal one. It's 4.5 ARA. It's a type of overlap reading that is really unique in this mapping style from what I know. It's a lot less on the slappy side and very much more on that flowy side. A lot extra aim control. It's a bit of a commonality here with this map pool is that there's a lot of flow in this, and I think that favors quite a few teams, particularly both China and Poland, but this one is a monster in its own right, really. Don't let that star rating deceive you. It's brutal.
Yeah, this map is one of the hardest in the map pool if you aren't like a specialist level reading player. Like, it's AR8, it's got a bunch of overlaps, yeah, but you can hear the song. The song itself lends itself to being very awkward in terms of rhythms, and you have to learn the rhythms on this, especially if you struggle a bit on the approach rate. And here comes Have in the bottom left, one of Poland's gimmick specialists. Meanwhile, the side of China, you see those all-rounders all out of the lobby, probably trying to get themselves acquainted to the approach rate before coming back in to play this one.
Yeah, Have coming in, making his opening appearance in this match. And we mentioned him before, just before the map started, one of the most underrated players that going into this, and probably one of the most exciting rookies of this tournament. I know a lot of expectations placed because of that, but it's for a reason. Hopefully that can still be matched, as he has set some fantastic scores in this tournament already, being one of the leading factors from Poland's previous dominant matches on those hidden and reading maps that he's placed on. Alongside him, you've got giants like Malashevsky, you've got Sharitori, and you have Milosh still sticking around. I think what's fantastic about Milosh's improvement, especially despite him being a lot more well-known, is that his versatility really is such a big improvement. And I think if there was anything underrated about Milosh, it would be that. It's his ability to play so many more maps than people think.
Yeah, I mean, most people would know him for his DT scores before this tournament, and that's primarily what I know him for. And I'll be honest, this is one of the first times I've seen him on a reading map, so I'm really curious to see how he does. But Sharitori also in on the top left, flag change from Ukraine this year. Really good at this type of reading as well as the DTs. Meanwhile, for China, it's that core roster coming back in, 3 Lulls and Crystal. See how they do. We see struggles. We see a lot of struggles coming out early from China on the accuracy and the combos. That is Karumi, Crystal, and Milk Tea all finding breaks. Some accuracy struggles as well, especially from Karumi. Meanwhile, still see an SS on the side of Poland.
Yeah. That SS coming in, and look at these circles that you have to rotate as well. Some of them cut against each other as well, so you have to be sure you're hitting the right kind of pattern, be it vertical or snappy. And it's paid off well for Poland. A 4-way full combo coming in here as China just completely collapsed already. Just almost accepting their fate at this point. You can see David already kind of understanding the situation that he's in right now. As the snap section, big spike to come in, usually the part where you see the most fireworks, and it's 4 members of Poland to hit through all of it as we get into the next HI time with more and more difficult patterns to hit. It is just brutal against China. Only Crystal able to really hold on and have something out of it, but Poland are turning a small bite into a feast as their team scores are skyrocketing to colossal gaps here. Already over halfway through the map, and it's 800,000 score and gaining. Have may go down, Sharitori may drop, but it's enough, without a doubt. Malashevsky and Milosh collectively both with fantastic accuracies as the difficulty spikes higher and higher. This is looking disgusting, and who else but Malashevsky to miss, as I mentioned his name, but also hold on to fantastic combo and accuracy.
It was so good for the first 3/4 of the map for Poland that they had amassed a lead of almost a million. But now into the ending with all 4 of them breaking, China will stop the bleeding a little bit. But can I even say that when the lead is still going to be at around 700k going down? Losing a lot of score very fast. If this map were a little longer, could have made it interesting, but nonetheless, 600k of score lead on Poland's third pick, and they're looking really good on this skill set, Shiba.
I don't know what else to say except just look at these. All of these single digit miscounts. 3 of them with 2 of them with 98 AC or higher, 99 from Milosh. A 1 miss 99 AC on this map from Milosh is crazy, considering the crazy spike of finger control that you need in that last quarter of the map. But 2 miss 600k from Shari Tori, 8 miss from Hav with 97, nearly 98% accuracy, and a 1 miss from Malish. I mean, no FCs coming in, but you can tell Poland were inches away. Ooh, 4 of them inches away from getting that full collected combo.
Top score in the lobby coming out from Crystal, though, had full comboed the entire second half of the map, which is really impressive from him. 770k, beats all the players from Poland, but not having the help on his team, and that's just how strong Poland is as a collective on this skill set, and that's why they decided to pick it. But now China, I mean, I'd say for sure it's do or die territory now with this pick. 1 to 4, can't afford to let Poland get another breakpoint, go up to match point. And if they want to continue to pick tech, which they have in the past and they probably will in the future, they've still got maps like the Hybrid Hard Rock 1 and I think the Flow Aim free mod or Hidden 3 if they want to as well.
Still some in place available for China. When you know how strong Poland are regardless, you just have to really go in what you're most comfortable on. You mentioned them. Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 2, Hidden 3. Free Mod 2 as well, potentially. Raver's Fantasy, if you wanted to stick out and do something different. It's going to be Mech Tech Free Mod 4 instead.
I understand the angle for it with this, because free mod and being a map where I'd say it's overall very comfortable, a map where China, they're going to have comfort on all 4 of their players on this, and they're going to be able to hold their comfort mods. Probably expect to see a David Hidden and potentially a Lado Fox Hidden Hard Rock on this one. And let Crystal run the Nomad. Meanwhile, Poland, we see those 2 players in the top left. I don't think they've left the lobby yet this match, Shiba.
No, they haven't. That is a very, a very intimidating sign when you know that your 2 best players from Poland are so chill they don't have to practice before the map starts. They can just stick around and wait for the next map to play. That's a different level of stoicism, I'd have to say.
Yeah, it's just aura.
I don't know what... It is aura. Simply put. Just both of them just standing there waiting while everyone else kind of huddles together, picks a strategy. Malish and Milosh are just kind of standing there staring, watching them prepare.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a quite funny vision, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for them, preparing might mean, okay, I'm changing from my high AR DT skin to my low AR reading skin, and the rest is just gonna come through my innate God-given skill at this game, I guess.
You say I guess like they're uncertain. They're not the types. They're not the types. Oh. I think this one coming into it, I believe being a little bit on the easier side, generally speaking from skill set. I think this one being a lot more accessible. Usually free mod 4 is opened up to be that more accessible free mod slot, allowing some players to maybe lean into more overmods. And I think for China, there's definitely a possibility. You could see double Hard Rock from Crystal and Milk Tea, for example, with David on that hidden. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Milk Tea Hard Rock or Crystal Hard Rock with David hidden. But to see Overmod, I'm really curious on what your thoughts. What do you think, Miles? Do you think there's going to see a lot of Overmod from either side?
This is definitely not the Overmod map. That would be Free Mod 2, where every team goes 3 Hard Rocks.
You think so? Really? Okay.
I think on this one, you're going to see teams wanting to run the Nomad as much as they can. We're going to see, I think with this Chinese roster, it's going to be David on the hidden and Milk Tea on the Hard Rock, which it is. Meanwhile, we see Malashevsky taking the pure Hard Rock for Poland, and Nahus taking the hidden, which is going to leave Koibumi and Sherry Tori on the Nomad, and Crystal and Z Numbers on the Nomad for China.
Okay, yeah, you're right. No overboss at all. I must have underrated the map a little bit in terms of difficulty. It felt like the easier option, at least from my perspective. But hey, you see it here. Milk Tea hidden. Milk Tea Hard Rock, David hidden. It's going to be Malashevsky uncharacteristically running that Hard Rock, but not to say at all that he's unfavored on it.
Yeah, I mean, Malashevsky, he can just take whatever he wants and you don't question it, because he's, I think, that one player up in the echelon of only MREC when it comes to superiority in this tournament. Just so strong. Whatever he puts on, it doesn't matter. He's going to do very, very well. But meanwhile, for this lobby on this map, it's no struggles at all out of the first quarter. Just an early break from Nahus on the hidden, which is going to give an early lead over to China. But the map is pretty long, near 3 minutes. And the combos are still alive on the rest of the team members, so just waiting on that first miss to potentially come through for China, and then the lead could start going back in favor of Poland.
Things are starting to get a little bit tense now. Only an opening miss from Nahus at the very beginning, but there's Z numbers to go down next. And that's the breakaway that Poland need. David as well to join just after the difficulty guide time 2. A moment here to build some free combo will backfire for China as Poland are able to climb and build this lead further. As we get into a slow down alternating section, a little bit of control, and down goes the two modded combos of China. Nahus again to miss, but not the one you're looking for. That is one you're looking for. Malashevsky to miss next, with Sharitori and Milosh still with their combos. It is just Crystal now alone with this full combo to pray for these Polish combos to drop so he can build this advantage for China as the rest of his teammates are struggling to keep up.
Crystal all alone. He's done it many times before, but now he needs help from his opponents. He needs to see breaks from Sharitori or Milosh. But historically, it's tough. It's tough to have that ask. Those two players so strong. Breaks do come out from Nahus, but still, the game state is staying put right now, especially as another break comes out from David, and now Poland are going to look to run into the ending with this one, still with the 2 FCs alive.
Not a lot of time left here. In fact, you need to see a double collapse now from Poland if you want to see Crystal's combo potentially make a significant impact. Decent recoveries here from David and Z numbers, but Malashevsky and Nahus responding back in kind. And that doesn't even have to be mentioned about the fact that Poland have a whole lot of full combo in their possession.
And the lead has already ballooned up to 370k and rising, about to reach 400k. Even if they both broke right now, there's not enough time. Even with the supporting combos coming back for Z numbers and Milk Tea, it's going to be Poland coming in to take another break point and bring themselves up to match point.
Yeah, that's going to be the case. Poland will secure that double FC from both Sharitori and Milosh. Unfortunately, Crystal's efforts not able to make enough out of it. Despite the full combo, and despite an admirable recovery attempt there from China, it just wasn't enough when you have 2 full combos that effectively duplicate that hero FC that Crystal would have had in their possession. And that takes Poland to match point here.
The FC from Crystal, the supporting combos alive, but ultimately not enough. When Poland is putting up a team score like this, the double FC there. It's basic math. 2 FCs over 1.
Yeah, exactly. That's as simple as it can be. And also mentioning, I didn't mention it before the map started, but this is actually an original entry from Locust competition, which was a competition set where every members of the OC community come together in teams to make full, unique, original songs and maps with full production and design in mind. And this one was one that reached 2nd place in the competition. So if you are interested in the cool originals made by the community, I suggest you look at the Locust competition, play some of the maps, because it really is a banger. And this one especially being no exception. The storyboard is spectacular on this. Just to give a small shout out to Locust, because I think it's an amazing project and we should have more events like it. And hopefully we'll have more, maybe more Locust representation OWC in the distant future. But with that, back to the match. Poland now in the driver's seat to end it. And the big question is, do they end it with an iconic banger, or do they end it in a savage and clear-cut way?
Well, I think there's 2 classics here in the pool you want to pick, and it's either Remote Control or Aver's Fantasy, but they're bringing out the DT1. And I just saw in the Twitch chat Wub with Wolf saying Rafis Remote Control Prage, I think. So we got
Hello, Wolf.
Little bit of favoritism here, but that's okay. A lot of history with this map. It was once a PP record by Cookie Z a long time ago, when the PP record was only in the high 700s. And a lot of players played this one. We've seen some people cry of being mental blocked on it in the map pool feedback channel. It's one of those types of maps.
Yep. It's so iconic and so popular that it almost feels impossible to find a player at this level who hasn't played it. So absurdly well known. And I think as well, very iconic for its pattern types too. Everyone knows how this map works. If you don't, you'll find out and you'll remember.
Yeah. Seen a lot of players miss on the dip spikes in the chorus sections, though. This map, it's still difficult, we learned after all these years. Not too many FCs have come out on this one. I think only a handful. Still one where I think everyone is going to have some baseline level of comfort on this because most people have tried to farm this at some point. But that can be a good thing or a bad thing when you come to the tournament stage and try to play it, because the jumps get a lot harder when you're on the big stage.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think just the sheer difficulty factor of for a lot of these players is nothing particular about the map itself, but more about themselves and the mind block. It's a generally common thing you'd expect, but I think when you have a competition like the US World Cup, that's not really an excuse you can make. It's very much a self-inflicted issue. Playing the map so much, learning the map so much. And there's the name we've been waiting for. Waffling until we see him appear. Raffis is in. One of the very, very first people to get an FC on this map, back when it was seen as the big challenge for the solo players in the leaderboards. Back when the guy was fighting #1, #2 global against players like Shigatora, which is a very old name, Cookie Z. A lot of people see as one of the greatest of all time.
Yep, that's my goat. Meanwhile, we see Lado Fox come in for China, that DT player I mentioned earlier. Haven't seen too much of him in this match, a player who I think a lot of people saw on China as being someone who could break that main roster, come in for a lot more maps, but only his second one this match. Yeah, this map, not a lot of tapping, but we do see some of it in the beginning, claiming some accuracies on China. Crystal starting out down at 93, as the players on Poland all chilling above 99, except for Raffis at a high 98.
Yeah, very, very clean and subtle for everybody here. No misses just yet, but there's going to be plenty of moments where we're going to be seeing it. These parts of the maps, honestly, are very, very comfortable. Not really expecting to see anything significant past this intro bit. It's the Ki times where the jumps come in where it really does hit, because the aim does spike very sharp. These 1-2s sometimes tripping people up, but not this time. All 8 players still with combos. First big jumps. Raffis, the first to fall here for Poland, as the second set of jumps will not trip up anybody from China. Small lead, slowly gaining the accuracy difference, keeping Poland ahead, but it's Crystal to miss next, as the first Ki time only missed once by one player from each team. Still anyone's map.
Oh, but David finding a break right after the first Ki. He FC'd the difficult section, just finding an unfortunate miss here during the bridge, and that's going to throw the lead further and further in favor of Poland. Milk Tea and Lado Fox still going strong, but it's 3 versus 2 right now when it comes to FCs, and there's the break to come out from Lado Fox on the slider. And now it's going to start to look really good for Poland going into the halfway point of the map.
Yeah, this has gone from what it was initially a completely huge tug of war, but now it's looking very, very dominant as it starts to gain. Second Ki time coming in. A little bit more comfortable jumps here. You're going to have a repeating back-to-back jump coming through now. Really, generally quite comfy for a lot of people, but unfortunately not comfy enough for Milk Tea, who falls next. That's another full combo. If not the last one, will fall as the break is in. And Poland see the gold.
Oh, Nahus?
Oh, Nahus? Okay. What happened there? I think he may have tried to adjust his grip a bit too late there. But
I think he fell asleep at the wheel. Maybe he dropped his pen. His cursor just disappeared. It stopped moving. I think he actually dropped his pen, or maybe he got like tabbed out or something. Who knows? Well, nonetheless.
Cross sliders? Oh, it doesn't catch it either.
Still be fine for Poland, even though China has brought their combos back, but it's another break from Lado Fox, and now Milosh and Malashevsky, those twin titans for Poland, still holding their FCs into last Ki. Are we going to get a 700 PP score in match today, folks?
We might. Very few have been able to get an exceptional score, if not an FC on this, as the peak comes in. It's world famous. You've seen it so many times, and it trips up Malashevsky, as Milosh is the last one standing in this lobby, who could close this out with an FC on the most iconic maps in the game in OWC, representing his country. Ending burst coming in. It's just a marvel to watch here. The only 8-star you can see a level like this be played by everybody at such a high level. It's up to Milosh to close it out in style. The fireworks are there. They raise up and they go. Remote control in full control by Milosh, as it's a full combo with excellent accuracy to close off the map for Poland with beautiful style.
A great score from Milosh there, getting the FC. A great score from Poland. Remote control. It felt like Poland was always in control of this match. China only able to get 1 point, and it requiring basically a 4-way FC to do so. And Poland, they have passed the test now. They move on to the semifinal stage where Canada is waiting for them. And China, it was a good fight, but they go down to the losers bracket where they will face a resurgent New Zealand team that has looked so strong so far in this tournament.
That sounds like a fantastic pair of matchups that we're going to be seeing in the future. Poland, Canada and China versus New Zealand. It only gets better next week in semifinals, but for now, Poland guarantee themselves a really strong position now in the semifinals as a chance to guarantee top 3 if they are to win against Canada next game. China next to fall in their seemingly monstrous run through this World Cup. Seed number 1 for a reason. Terrifying just by looking at these names. And they're proving it again today with a really dominant score against a team that has been really good, all things considered, in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, China for so long it felt like the Undertaker in OWC, and you have to really beat them good to beat them, and to beat them at a scoreline of 6-1, China just felt like they didn't really have an inroads in this match, and Poland just showing why they are one of the favorites to win.
Indeed. With that being said, that's the match here between Poland and China. Unfortunately, not as close as we were hoping, but China put up a really decent fight, in all honesty, having one of the strongest, if not the #1 team score on Hard Rock 3, which is no easy feat by any measure, as one big hurrah from China in what otherwise was a really strong Poland-colored matchup here. As that'll be the end for this match so far, but we're not going to be long until we go into another match here